from the Special Victims Division were quickly able to apprehend this male. He is Thomas Johnson, male, 50 years old. He is a registered sex offender with a risk level 3, which is our highest level. He has 9 prior arrests: in August of 21 for strangulation, in August of 2006 for sexually abusing a 5-year-old female, which he pled guilty and served 1 year, and that's why he was a registered sex offender. In March of 03 for an assault, June of 1995 for an attempted murder, which he pled guilty to assault, in February in 94 for grand larceny, and he takes 3 other arrests in January, March, and September of 91 for grand larceny and assault. Detectives obtained a search warrant for his apartment and his person. Recovered was a bloody T-shirt and his bloody clothing. He is presently charged with assault, 2nd degree, for an elderly female over 65 years old, strangulation, and burglary. And there may be additional charges in the future on this one. Another case I'd like to update you on occurred on Sunday, July 24th at 11:50 a.m. at 922 Remsen Avenue during a church service in which 3 males wearing all black and ski masked entered the location while Pastor Lamor Whitehead and his wife Asia were preaching. 2 of the males proceeded to the stage, displayed a firearm, and demanded his property and jewelry. His wife, who was sitting to the left of the stage, also was robbed of her jewelry at gunpoint. A total of $1 million in jewelry was taken. This incident was being live streamed on Facebook and lasted approximately 1 minute and 30 seconds. Investigators from the Brooklyn Robbery Squad and our Federal Task Force Sparta, consisting of NYPD detectives and ATF agents, were able, through various investigative means, consisting of video and electronics tracking, were able to identify these perpetrators. On Thursday, September 22nd, these 3 individuals were indicted by the Eastern District of the U.S. Attorney's Office. Today, September 28th, members of the NYPD and ATF executed arrest warrants. Arrested was Juwan Anderson, 24-year-old male of 20 Monroe Avenue in Brooklyn. He has 2 prior arrests: in July of 2020 for a domestic violence assault misdemeanor, and earlier in this year in January for an unlicensed operator. Second male was arrested and taken into custody is Saquon Pollock, 24-year-old male of 1414 Bergen Avenue in Brooklyn. He has 7 prior arrests, all from 2015, 1 for disorderly conduct. He also has 6 counts of robbery, all occurring in October and November of 2015. They were part of a borough pattern robbery, street robberies, which he was sentenced to 5 years in jail. He also was arrested in August of 2020 in Nassau County, and in Pennsylvania, he has a warrant out him for criminal possession of marijuana. A third individual we have identified, but we will not be releasing his name at this time. Both were arrested and charged with a Hobbs Act robbery, which is robbery in the 1st degree. With that, we'll take any questions.
State your name and your media outfit, please. I'll point you out.
Miles from Channel 4. Just about the Bishop robbery, was any of the jewelry recovered?
No.
And has the Bishop been cooperating with the investigation?
The jewelry has not been recovered, and the pastor has cooperated fully with this investigation.
Next.
John DeVille, CBS. Do they know why the pastor was targeted in particular?
Well, if you look, there's a pattern throughout the city, throughout the last few years, high-end jewelry robberies being targeted. The pastor live streams, he has high-end jewelry robberies, so we suspect it's that.
Rocco?
Chief, what was the decision-making process? How do you go federal? A couple of have a decision general to get stayed How it happened with this case?
Well, I mean, we use the federal statute. Nick, you could talk about this? Yeah.
Yeah, so how are you? I'm Inspector Nicholas Fiore from Central Robbery Division. So we have a joint robbery task force that we utilize out of Central Robbery Division, which partners with the ATF task force, where we utilize Eastern and Southern District on very violent cases. And what's called Hobbs Act robbery, where we get, especially with a firearm, we get the best bang for our buck. We get a 10-year minimum on a robbery with a firearm, and that's the best place where we saw this. A very, very violent robbery crew that we saw with no regard to anybody going in the middle of mass, holding a child at gunpoint. That's a pretty rough robbery, so that's where we decided to take it that way.
If a robbery fits the statute, we use it as a tool. We do it many times.
The third person's still being sought, right? He's not in custody.
No, he's not in custody. He's being sought.
Okay, and the two who were arrested, were they rented their homes?
They were both. Yes, they were both arrested at their addresses that I gave.
Any other questions on these two cases? Okay, we'll go off topic now. Rocco?
Chief, actually, just regarding the sex attack in the 73. So their neighbors, what's the relationship like, if any, and was there forced entry, or did she leave the door unlocked?
They are acquainted. She knows who he is. He's an upstairs neighbor of him. And he, as to how he got in, that's still to be determined.
And the year sentence he got